Well, I had to start at the beginning, actually, don't I? When I first sort of wondered what I was going to do when I left school, and I tried nursing for a little while, but it really wasn't my forte. So I decided to ask the family if they minded if I would join the Air Force. And they agreed. And I went to Lincoln and joined up. My first port of call was Lincoln, at the aerodrome in Lincoln. And I was there for, well, I learned to join the Air Force. You know, it was very strange. You lived quite a different life, and the eating habits and everything were all very different, but I loved every moment of it. And from there, I went to Dunham. That's part of Lincoln. It's the other side of Lincoln, Dunham and Fiskerton. And this is not going to be good. Scrub that, please.
Mum, that's fine. Dunhome is fine.
Yeah.
Don't get all like...
No, darling, just leave me alone, please. Just leave me alone. Just leave me alone. I've got it all in the back of my mind, and it's all...
Of course you have.
Let's say I really enjoyed the time when I joined up, and I thoroughly enjoyed it, and it was a lovely experience. And I met some awfully nice girls and some awfully nice people, and I did some marvellous driving, because I loved driving and I could drive anything, and it was absolutely super. And then after a while, it took quite a bit of getting used to after home life, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. And I enjoyed driving the big vehicles, and I used to take the CO's dog for a ride, and he was the darling. He really was. But eventually, bless his heart, he got killed, and he was a sweetie. Now, after a few, I think, months getting used to the Air Force, and then I was posted, and I was posted to Dunham, and taking the boys to the aircraft, and the whole of the life was marvellous, and the food was very good. It was really most enjoyable. In fact, I loved the breakfast of kidneys.
Very nice.
And I met an awful lot of nice people. But as time went on, things got rather more difficult. You know, it was a little bit more dangerous than it was when I first joined up. And lots of funny things happened to me. The first winter, I got lost in the fog on the aerodrome, and that was absolutely scary. It really was. I was sort of wandering around in a massive grey mess for about an hour and a half, and everybody was looking for me, and shouted, "Tommy, for goodness sake," my name was Tomlinson. And I was christened Tommy from the moment I joined up almost to the moment I finished. And eventually they found me, and I was rather scared, actually. It was very funny. But they gave me a torch of some sort, and the next time, if there was any fog, they gave us all something to help us to sort of find home. And yes. And then my first going home was rather nice. You know, my first a fortnight, I think we got a week's holiday, and I got really very used to the Air Force then. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I drove for hundreds of miles. We used to have to go out sometimes and take the officers down south and, drive long distances at night. And that was quite interesting. But I was never sorry that I joined, because I had a wonderful time. And everybody was so... Well, it was a life that you'd never find anywhere else. It was... and all sorts of funny things happened to me. Why does one's mind go blank when I can think of so many things? I'd be much better writing you a whole thingy. I could really write you something really most interesting.
That's fine. We would love to see it. But you loved driving. And
I loved driving.
And
yes,
you were
I
a
did.
driver in the West.
I did.
Yeah.
And then I was stationed at Fiskerton, and at Fiskerton there's a river that you have to cross if you want to go to Lincoln shopping or go in the evening. And this particular day, my friend and I, we decided we'd go shopping, but at night time. And we got over, and I never wore a greatcoat. I always had I couldn't bear the weight of a waistcoat, thank goodness, because coming back, so many people got on the ferry that it turned over. And 2 or 3 of the airmen were drowned. And I'm afraid I could swim quite well, but I did yell and say help. And somebody picked me out, thank goodness, and took me down to the hospital and had a bath. And the WAF officer rang Mum, because it wasn't very far away, because we lived at Little Steeping at the rectory, near Spilsby. And that was my first experience of... it was quite interesting, really. I survived very well, thank you very much. And then all sorts of strange things happened. You had many accidents and terrible, unhappy times when you took the boys to the aircraft, and bless their hearts, they didn't come back again. And they used to say, Tommy, will you write to my wife and just tell her? And I used to send cards and all sorts of things. And there was one particular airman that I really was very, very fond of. And there were miserable nights when they went out, because you worried until they came home. And you really did. And this particular night I used to wash my slacks every other night and iron them, because we had a nice laundry. And in the laundry there was a lace curtain in the window, and it was wafting in the breeze. And I was busy and thinking and hoping that he was all right and all the rest of them were. And all of a sudden there was a terrific wind and blew the curtains up. I thought, oh no, that's him. And it was. And it was so sad. All sorts of things like that used to happen to me. But the life was a very interesting life. I mean, I drove tractors and pulled aircraft. I mean, you had thundering great aircraft at the back of you with a horse about that length, and you sort of carted them around the peritrack. And we used to take the cookies to the aircraft with a tractor, and that was a bit scary too. You have a load of cookies and a big thing in, but you get used to all these sort of things. And all sorts of interesting things used to happen to us. What else? Oh yes, the bomb dump went up. Oh, now that was a pretty grim moment of time. Well, it was around about, just after lunch, I should think. And I was taking some a drink. We used to have to take buckets of tea or whatever round to the it's at the end of the runway. There was this caravan, and there's usually somebody, a sergeant or someone in it, and we had to go and take them a drink around, about twice a day. Somebody did. And we were going past the aerodrome at the top, past the where they do the and one of the bots turned the on the bomb, they turned the screw around the wrong way and the whole thing blew up. And I was just sailing back from taking the drink to the sergeant back to the office, and I picked some of them up and took them to the hospital, and I stayed in the hospital for quite a long time helping out. But about 3 or 4 of the airmen were killed. Can't remember how many, but it was a terrific explosion. It wasn't funny. And all sorts of strange things used to happen, But I wish I wasn't so old. I'd be able to give you a better sort of... I'm forgetful. At 92, you do rather tend to forget, don't you?
You're doing very well.
And what else? Oh, all sorts of strange things happened. Oh yes, the bomb. Takeoff. Oh dear. It was bombed from top to the bottom. It had about 4 different bombs on the...
Is that the landing strip,
yes,
the runway?
The runway, that's what I wanted, yes. And that's happened, I think, twice. And it used to happen in the middle of the day. They used to come and start off from the top to the bottom. And of course, it was very grim because you didn't really know where to fly to. But we used to have lots of interesting things happen. And so many, it was dreadful when they came back from a bombing night. It really was dreadful because there were so many missing. We lost an awful lot one night. And it was so... It seemed so unnecessary, really. It was very sad-making. And a lot of the girls, they were very silly, really, because they got married, and that was absolutely the dreaded end, because, you were asking for trouble, weren't you? Really. But on the whole, it was a very interesting life. There were lots more things, and they'll come to mind as soon as you've gone. What else did I do? All sorts of amazing things. Oh yes, I was going to Lincoln one day, and I was in in the office, was the stuff. And one of the boys came in and said, "Oh, Tommy," because my name was Tomlinson, so I was always Tommy. "Tommy, I'm going to Lincoln on the motorbike, but if you like to come, you can. I'll bring you back, in about a couple of hours' time." So I said, "Well, that's jolly good." And I said, "I'd love to. I've never been on the motorbike before." So off we started. Yes, and we were doing very nicely, thank you. And then we went round a corner, and I leaned one way and he leaned the other, and I finished up in the in the dike. Oh dear, it wasn't funny. Oh, poor man, I felt so sorry for him. He said, "Tommy, that's the last time I'll ever take you on a motorbike." I said, "He never told me what to do." So I don't remember going back to camp, but I do remember my legs from here to here were black. I sat like a fool in the dike. Oh dear, that was rather grim. And I daren't go to the hospital and ask them to do something. I had to keep it quiet and keep my trousers on all the time. But what had I been doing? So I haven't been on a motorbike since. Yeah. But life was full of interesting things. It was full of meeting interesting people. And I lived at home for a long time. I lived because Mother was very ill, and I got a compassionate posting to Spilsby. And it was we were lucky really, because we had I had a horse, and we had at home it was a rectory at Little Steeping, and I had, what else did I have? Oh, drums that we used to share with the boys. And Mother was very, very good. She used, some of the boys who were flying at night, she'd give them a nice meal the next day when they came home. And they could, Father put a scheme up in the officers' mess that they could come and play tennis whenever they wanted to. And the officers had their week at playing tennis. He worked it very nicely. And and Mummy used to do all sorts of strange. She could play the violin most beautifully. And she used to go out on a lovely sunny afternoon and stand near the hedge. And there's a big tree in the middle of the lawn. She'd stand near the leaning on the tree, playing the violin. And the cows would come and with their heads over the hedges. Honestly, they were so funny. There were about 10 cows in the field, and along the hedge, there they were, all of them, absolutely enjoying the music. We had some lovely times then, and people used to come and say, the boys used to love to come and play tennis. And Father was ever so good, he sort of helped them. And Mum was very good. They used to come for meals, and the officers used to come at night and play bridge. And we were quite a happy little household, actually. And one night they were all sitting. The CEO used to come because he used to go shooting with Daddy occasionally. And, and we all sat there. They sat there playing bridge in the room, and I was in the sitting room with one of the girls, I think. And there was suddenly the most awful crash, a terrific bang. The whole house shook. Well, you couldn't see the officers, they're gone. They're away. Oh my goodness. Exit, it's a great big door in the rectory, and you could hear it opened it and it banged back, and they came in the ambulance, because it was quick and easy. But that was a night. And Daddy went upstairs. Mummy and I went in the room under the stairs, and Daddy went off into the bedroom into his wardrobe and shut the door. And I was with Mum where the cat used to have its kittens in that room under the stairs. And there was always lots of straw in there. And when it was all quiet and everything had gone and everyone was still alive, there's a voice going, "Help." Daddy had locked himself in the wardrobe. Oh, it sounds so silly now, but oh goodness me. But the silliest things used to happen. They
Did you
really
ever
do.
discover what had caused? Did you ever discover what had caused the explosion? The noise.
Oh, they were bombing the drone.
Okay.
Yes. It needs to come out of the blue. This terrific crash, and it wasn't far. It actually wasn't very far from the aerodrome. Only just hop, skip, and a jump. So we were all a bit scared. But the exit was amazing. I never seen people go so fast in all my life. Oh, what else do we do? We used to do all sorts of things. Daddy used to take some of the officers shooting now and again. He was a big shooting man. If they were on holiday or they didn't go away, some of them didn't go away always. They'd stay around. And Daddy would take them shooting and take them out and about. We tried to do our best. At least Mum and Dad were wonderful. What else did I do? Oh, yes. When I was stationed at Dunham, the baker had a horse. And I used to go and buy cakes and all sorts of things from the baker. And we were talking one day and he said, do you ride? So I said, yes, I've got my horse at home. I don't see it very often now. So he said, would you like a ride? I said, I'd love a ride. He said, right, when you're on, if you've got a day off or anything, he said, come round and he's in a field just down the road and the gate's easy to open if you get on before you go out into the road. And he said, come and collect the saddle and bridle and everything, all bits and pieces. And I used to go for a lovely ride on my day off. It used to be absolutely marvellous. And I've often wondered how long he stayed there. I did go back and thank him once when I was on leave, because it was very jolly nice to be able to go out for a ride now and again. And I was so lucky that way. I met some awfully nice people. And I did all sorts of very strange things. What else did I do? When you've gone, I shall think of some more. Oh, yes, I was stationed up in Northumberland, wasn't I? Oh, of course I was. Yes. Oh, and I had a wonderful time up there. Yeah. And we used to travel. Oh, you had a girl, the two of you together, and usually in a big Vauxhall, and you could go for the day as long as you went round somewhere that was interesting. And we used to travel all over the place in Northumberland, and we'd have... and I used to love to go to the... every Monday they had the motorbike racing. Now, what do they call it? Something or other. Every Monday, yes. And I used to take the CO's wife and her little girl to school every morning. And I knew the CO quite well. He was very nice. And we used to have, when I used to go and fetch her, we used to have a cup of coffee with them and you know, have quite a nice Monday morning. And this particular Monday morning I went into the office, the police, what do you call it? I've forgotten now. And I said to the sergeant, can I have a pass please, because I'm going to the motor race thing tonight. We used to go at night. And so he said, no, I'm afraid you can't. He said, I want you for something else. So I said, well, you can't do that, because the CO's given me permission to go every night, Oh, yes, I can, he said. I said, OK, fair enough. And I went round to the house and I said, can I speak to his master, please? Because she was oh so sweet. And they said, Vera, what's the matter? I said, I can't go to the motorbike racing tonight. Well, you always go. I said, well, yes, I do, but the sergeant said I mustn't go tonight, and I don't know why. Oh, does he really? So he picked up the telephone. He said, is that you? So-and-so, so-and-so. So he said, yeah. He said, why isn't Tommy going tonight? So he said, well, sir, I've got something else for him. He said, yes, so have I. And she goes tonight. Because I looked after his little girl and I took his wife and safely to wherever she was going. I felt a bit mean. But I thought, no, I'm not having that. No, I'm not. Oh, and he was so kind. And when I left the Air Force, because I left from there, I wrote to them and thanked them for being so nice to me. And they really were. And I didn't take advantage of that. But I was just cross because he didn't really want me, because he didn't like me very much. Because I got around, I knew everyone, and I wasn't pushy, you know. And he didn't like the idea of me taking me to the child to school and Mrs. Thingy, because he thought it was sort of an officer's job. But the CEO said, no, Tommy does it. He called me Tommy as well. Oh, they were so nice. They really were. And I didn't take advantage of it. That was why I was so cross, because that would have been unkind. I used to take it. I used to just go in as a matter of course to ask him for a pass, like everybody else did. And he was just cross, I suppose. He didn't have anything for me to do. He just wasn't going to let me go. I was going. Isn't that naughty, really? I wasn't like that, really. I didn't take advantage. I was very lucky. I got on with everyone. Touch wood, but I did. Yeah. And one or two jolly things happened while we were up there. We had some parties, RAF parties, and dances. I had a boyfriend. And then I was posted from there home. It was nice to get home then. I could ride my horse then. And from then on, I just moseyed through life. I had a wonderful life, really. I had a wonderful friend. Well, it sounds a bit, doesn't it? But Father took us to a hunt ball about a fortnight later, and I met Lady Vera lived Reesby Abbey, and I'd known her. She's there with my mum shopping, and her son Michael's, he was abroad, and I'd known Michael for a long time. And she rang Mum and said, could Vera come with me to Ireland, because I had a friend in that was a bit vague. I had to ring George and get him to take us down to the... Yes, we went to Ireland for about a week because she had a stud in Ireland, and it was Baldor races. And we went to Baldor races. And then we went to... this is nothing to do with the Air Force, so you won't want to know.
Interesting. Carry on.
And then after the races, the next day we had horse sales. And I'll never forget this lovely, lovely horse. And he had ears that went like that. They just flapped Oh, and I had to go and give him a hug. Oh, and I would have loved to have had him. I would love to have been able to afford him. I didn't take any money with me though. But I couldn't have got him home. It was such an effort to get them home. And I'll never forget him. Oh, he was lovely. And his ears just hung. They hadn't any strength to hold them up. And then we came home, and it was in 1947. And when we got home and the train came in the station, we put a foot out, and the snow was up to there. And George had to go and fetch us some Wellington boots. That was the showman. And he had to go and fetch us some Wellington boots. And the park was absolutely up to there. And the poor little dear, oh gosh. Oh, they were, oh dear. That was a lovely, well, it was quite nice because we lived in the snow more or less.
Pretty.
Oh, yes. I've been very lucky. I've had a very nice life, really.
And you did actually marry somebody from Bomber Command, didn't you?
I married Bill, yes. I had lots of boyfriends, but Bill died after. It's 30 years I've been without him. And I didn't marry again. I seem to be too busy. I don't know why I didn't. I had lots of friends, but I didn't have anyone I loved like I did Bill. No. Honestly, why didn't you marry again? She wouldn't have bother of me, would she then?
I'm sure she doesn't mind
Where
at all.
are those two gone?
Where are you two? Because I think it's time for your lunch now. You've really earned it. Thank you, Vera, very much for all of these wonderful stories.
Oh, they're not. I could think of ever so many more when you'd gone.
Well, we'll come back. We'll come back.
I could, honestly. I've done all sorts of amazing things.
Yeah, I'm sure. They
I
just
really
come
have.
flooding back, don't they?
I wish I could. When you've gone, I shall remember some funny things that happened in the Air Force. I got a bit nervous to start with because I couldn't remember. It all went. It left me.
Yeah, but then it all came back.
And then it all came back. I've got lots of books and things here. Oh, dear, yes. What else can I tell you? When I used to drive. Oh, I had a car. Daddy bought me a car when I was 17. And I drove 72 years. And then I had to give it up. Because I was too old. Fancy, I'm 92.
Pretty
Isn't
good.
it disgusting?
I think that's very admirable.
You.
Mm.
I think it's tragic. Never mind. As long as you keep a sense of humour. I mean, I've been staggering around for years now, for at least 9 years. And I never thought I'd ever need fancy me in a wheelchair. I've done so many interesting things. I've ridden and I've walked for hours with Daddy shooting. He taught me to shoot. I've been on the we used to go duck shooting at 5 o'clock in the morning. He'd say, "How do you feel about tomorrow morning, Bea?" So I said, "I don't know, Dad. Why? What do you want to do?" He said, "Let's go shooting, shall we?" I said, "All right." How, what and where? He said, "Well, we'll go down to the oh dear, went down to Underby Creek and sat there like stupid idiots at 5 o'clock in the morning shooting ducks. Honestly. Then we lived in a rectory when I first got married. We lived in a lovely rectory at Fort St Peter. And, oh dear, we used to do the most amazing things there. We had donkeys and for Anna when she was little. She was a terror. She really was. And we entertained, and I gardened madly, and I used to go fishing in the pond. We had a jolly nice pond. And, I don't know. I've filled in my life quite reasonably well.